Welcome to the road least traveled. My name is Suli and I'm your host. In this podcast, I share with you what I've learned in my journey of spiritual awakening, and I hope that it helps you in yours. So stay with me. Let's figure this thing out together. To know if you're getting messages from your intuition, you need to know what else is talking to you. What are the voices in your head? If you're not sure, then I suggest you go through a process of elimination. It'll help you identify which messages are from your intuition and for your highest good, and which are voices that are just, blah, 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 noises from other people. Now let's go through the thoughts that are not from your intuition. 1, thinking. Thinking is from your mind, and it's mostly based on logic. Logic is limited to only what you know, what you can see and hear. Logic is that 2% tip of the iceberg. Now, don't get me wrong, the mind is an amazing tool, but it's still just a tool. A chainsaw is an amazing tool, but we don't ask it to make our decisions for us. We ask our intuition, and then we apply our mind as a tool to carry out its decisions. Now, the second one is other people's opinions. We're exposed to so many opinions and views from other people. It's no wonder our own intuition is buried underneath. Our subconscious mind absorbs all that from people we know from our past and our present. And by the time you're 40 years old, assuming you sleep 8 hours a night, you would have absorbed 14,016,000 minutes of other people's chatter. Now multiply that by the number of people you've known your whole life, from family, friends, work colleagues, and strangers from social media. Oh, and the news. If you're not scared by this, you should be. So after putting aside all that mental chatter, what's left? That's your intuition. Intuition is knowledge from source energy. You can call them guardian angels, spirit guides, or God's messengers, whatever's most comfortable for you and what you relate to. But the thing about intuition is that it's from a higher being that comes to us through something. They're here to help us navigate life by nudging us or whispering to us, but in a very different way from how humans communicate. And that's why it's sometimes very hard to know what messages are coming to us. They can't speak to our ears because they have no physical bodies. They have no voice box. So they give us signs through nature or through events that happen around us. If we're oblivious, then we won't see or hear them. They can't pull you aside, shake you and say, listen, I'm trying to tell you something, because they don't have physical arms to shake you or a voice to scream into your ears. So they tug at your sleeve or drop a feather in front of you and say, hey, I need to tell you something. And they say it so gently and so softly, because they don't have physical form. Here are 3 signs it's your intuition or guardian angels talking to you. 1, you experience synchronicities. Synchronicities are coincidences that are meaningful to you. It won't be meaningful to someone else because the messages are tailored to you alone. And don't tell anyone about your synchronicities, yeah? Unless they too have experienced it. People say, oh, it's just coincidence. Yes, they are coincidences, but there is meaning to them. There's a pattern. Don't waste your time and energy explaining to non-believers until they're open enough or awake enough to see synchronicities. They'll never believe you. So don't seek validation from them. Let me give you an example of one synchronicity that I've experienced. Now, I've experienced so many. I'm not going to tell you all of it because, we'll be here forever. So just this one example, yeah? One day, I was listening to the soundtrack of The Shape of Water and staring at my view. Now, I wasn't thinking anything. I was just staring at my beautiful view. And at one point of the track of Alyssa's theme, there's a chorus that sounds particularly magical. Now, if you've watched The Shape of Water, you'll know what I mean by magical. At that point, a few swallows flew by, and then several more came to join them. They were flying around and circling each other, doing twists and turns up and down like a synchronized dance. It really was amazing and beautiful to watch. I was mesmerized. Now, you have to believe me when I say this, okay? They danced in rhythm with the music. When the chorus ended, the birds just suddenly disappeared, like they just vanished from the sky. I checked the timestamp of the music track and found that the swallows flew in at exactly the 44-second mark. That was when they appeared and they did this wonderful, beautiful dance. Now, 44 and 444 have been number combinations that I've been getting for a few years now. I see other combinations too, but 444 comes to me most often. Sometimes it's the time, sometimes it's the battery level of my laptop or phone. And one day when I lifted the cover of my dog's swimming pool, there was a cute strand of dried grass in the shape of a 4 on the metal frame. Now, there's no mistake about it, yeah? It was definitely a well-formed 4 with well-defined corners. And I thought, you guys are really cheeky. Sometimes they are. Sometimes, what I find is that angels and spirit guides, they have a brilliant sense of humor. I'll tell you in another episode, but they do laugh at me. They make fun of me. I talk to them, and sometimes the conversation goes back and forth. So all you have to do is observe what happens around you. When synchronicities happen, I'd go to what I might have been thinking of at that moment, and it's always meaningful. They're always assuring me that I'm on the right track. The second sign, a thought suddenly enters your mind out of nowhere, and it doesn't seem like it comes from you. Sometimes it doesn't make sense and there's no logic to it, but if you follow it, you'll see in hindsight that it was there to put you on the right path. Only you didn't know then where it would lead. This requires trust. Trust it, and you'll get a hang of how to follow your intuition. Over time, you'll see a pattern. The third sign, that state you're in between sleep and wakefulness, like, for example, when you're beginning to wake up in the morning, that is the time when the most powerful messages come to you. That window of time is the bridge between your subconscious and conscious mind. That's when your subconscious, which has no physical body to do things, tells your physical mind and body what to do and how to do it. I have a clear objective for my channel. I have a concept, but I actually don't actively think of the ideas for each episode. I don't even think of how to do it. It just comes to me. I'm just a typist for the scripts. And if I miss this window of time in the morning, I don't worry. I just go about my day, and the next morning it'll be there waiting for me to type it out. This is what we call the flow. Intuition makes the flow of life smoother and less stressful. When people say, just go with the flow, now it's very often misunderstood, because going with the flow is not being aimless. It's not an excuse to not know where you're going and expecting things to happen magically for you. Being in the flow works when we have a clear objective, a concept, and a vision, and then we let our intuition tell us what to do. Otherwise, it'll just shoot in all directions without knowing where it's going. But when you have a clear objective and you have a vision, then everything becomes easy and stress-free. The hard part is having a clear objective of what you want to achieve that's meaningful to your soul. When people tell me they're not happy, even though they have really beautiful houses, fancy cars, and nice clothes, I ask them, what do you really want? And most of them can't answer that. Look, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm just sharing my personal experiences and what I've learned. If it resonates with you, cool. But if not, you don't have to listen to me rambling on about, what the soul wants and all. Go enjoy your life the way you want. You, as in the physical you, can be materially successful as you want. If that's the yearning of your soul, I'm not here to tell you otherwise. But many materially successful people work so hard. And is the stress worth sacrificing our physical and mental health for? If their soul's journey is to earn as much money as possible, hey, I salute them. But why are still so many people not happy? Well, listen to your intuition. The answers are all there. So here's a recap of the 3 signs your intuition is trying to shake you awake, trying so hard to tell you, please listen to me. Okay? Number 1, it's synchronicities. Number 2, a thought that enters your mind out of nowhere and seems illogical. And number 3, the window of time between sleep and wakefulness. That's when you're most open to these messages. Okay, my intuition is telling me this is a great place to stop. I'll see you soon. You take care. Thank you for listening. If you found this of value, please follow and share it.